You're listening to the Power Agent Blogcast, empowering agents to elevate their business to the next level.
Challenges are just a guide, leading you, don't run and hide. You've got the heart, you've got the drive, feel it pound, you're alive. Power Agent.
Welcome to the Deep Dive. Ever wonder what really separates the good from, the absolute best in any field? Well, today we're sort of pulling back the curtain. We've gone through a whole pile of sources looking at the success strategies of Kathrin Rein. If you don't know the name, she's the #1 Keller Williams agent in Florida, the entire state. She's a powerhouse producer, obviously, but she's also known for this relentless drive to teach others how to build wealth using real systems.
Right. And our mission here really is to cut through the, let's say, the real estate jargon and pull out the universal stuff. Because what's really fascinating is that her success, it's not built on like timing the market or some secret algorithm. No, the core insight we're unpacking is that it's all founded on these timeless habits. Things like ownership, connection, and just, serious daily discipline. We want to give you simple steps, things you can actually do that compound over time. Doesn't matter what industry you're in.
Okay, let's unpack that. Starting with what seems like the absolute foundation. Habit number 1. This idea of taking ownership. It's a mindset shift, isn't it? Rein doesn't just see herself as, an agent who closes deals. She operates as a wealth builder, a problem solver, almost like a trusted partner for life.
And that ownership identity, it goes really deep. It means she invests the time, like serious time, to know the business inside and out, way beyond just showing houses. The sources mentioned she actually coaches clients on things like how to reduce property taxes, strategy there, and helps them figure out smarter investment moves long term. So she's not just facilitating a transaction. She's becoming this indispensable financial advisor almost. That's a huge value add.
That is a huge distinction. Not just a guy, but a genuine resource. But okay, here's where ownership gets tricky, I think. Accountability, especially when things don't go perfectly.
Oh, absolutely. And that's the real difference, isn't it, between just hitting targets and true ownership. See, when a relationship fizzles out, maybe a client goes elsewhere. The average person, they tend to look outside, blame the market, the price, maybe the client was just difficult, But Rein, her first question is always internal. What could I have done differently? How could I have kept that connection stronger? That refusal to blame external stuff, that's the engine, really. It guarantees she's always improving, always growing.
Okay, but how do you actually do that? How do you operationalize that kind of self-critique without just beating yourself up? It needs a system.
Right. And that leads perfectly to the practical side of this habit, the power of what we're calling micro-reflections. It's this discipline of tiny, constant self-correction. Like after any big client interaction, she takes maybe 2 minutes, literally, and jots down one thing she did well. Got to build that confidence, right?
Yep.
And one specific thing to improve next time. It's not some huge quarterly review nobody does. It's daily, deliberate, giving yourself feedback. And that steady, tiny adjustment, that's what builds mastery over time. It just compounds.
Okay, so ownership is mastering the internal game. Then habit number 2 seems to be about mastering the external game. And it sounds almost too simple. The rule of 5.
Yeah,
our sources really highlighted this. She consciously avoids those super complex, CRM systems, client relationship management software, or the really elaborate time blocking schedules that some top performers live by. Instead, her connection habit is dead simple. A non-negotiable promise to herself to reach out to at least 5 past clients or contacts every single day.
5. Yeah, it sounds almost small, doesn't it? Especially for someone at her level, you'd think, why not 50? But if you connect it back, the magic isn't the volume per day. It's the consistency, day in, day out. She's building goodwill just by being present. It's not about a hard sell. It's a quick call, a text checking in, maybe a Facebook message for a birthday, that kind of thing. And think about how that adds up. 5 connections a day, 5 days a week. That's nearly 1,300 purposeful interactions a year. That steady drip of personal quality communication, it builds this incredibly solid referral base that just grows and grows without needing tons of cold, expensive ads.
Okay, but let's be real. Finding even 15 minutes of focused time can feel impossible some days. So what about consistency? What if you're struggling to actually do it every day?
Yeah, good point. And the sources had a really smart practical strategy for this. We can call it the connection sprint. The advice is basically schedule one super focused 15-minute block every morning. And here's the key. Before you open your email, because email makes you reactive, right? Connection needs to be proactive. So you knock out those 5 touches first thing, guaranteed. It ensures that the most important stuff, the relationship building, actually happens. It doesn't get pushed aside by urgent but less important things.
That's a brilliant little mental trick. Just prioritize it first.
Oh,
Okay, moving on. Habit number 3, network leverage, or cultivating powerful vendor relationships. This one's all about reciprocity. And it starts with something really physical, kind of old school. The sources mention Rein keeps this actual binder, like a physical binder full of business cards. Trusted vendors, contractors, professionals. She uses mortgage people, stagers, handymen, you name it. But the habit isn't just having the binder, it's what she does with it.
Exactly. The action is proactive support. She deliberately tries to support 3 of these vendor partners every day. She literally flips through the binder, and the question she asks isn't, who do I need help from today? It's, who can I help today? Maybe that means tagging a local painter on social media or connecting a client who needs a roofer. Sending business their way. And that's the principle of reciprocal networking, right there in action. Pure reciprocity. Because she's consistently putting energy and referrals out into her network first, she's built this system that naturally sends high-quality referrals back to her. She becomes this, central hub, an ecosystem where everyone benefits and everyone's kind of invested in her success because she's so invested in theirs.
Right, it transforms her from just one agent into the center of this whole thriving professional community. Which leads to a good question for you listening.
Yeah.
How do you make that practical? How do you become indispensable like that?
Well, the key takeaway seems to be formalizing it for your clients. Don't just keep that binder for yourself. Organize those trusted contacts into a proper go-to resource guide. Make it official. When you become the person who knows a guy for everything, the best plumber, the reliable electrician, the great landscaper, you make yourself essential long after the deal is done. You shift from being just a transaction helper to, a lifetime resource manager for your clients.
That's a massive competitive edge, isn't it?
Yeah.
Especially now when so much feels purely digital and transactional. Which actually brings us really nicely to habit number 4, a habit that kind of pushes back against that digital trend. Talk to people everywhere, the power of face-to-face. And the origin story for this one is actually pretty cool and really instructive. When Rein first moved to Miami, she knew basically no one, zero network. So her solution for building influence wasn't fancy marketing, it was radically simple. She just decided she'd talk to everyone. Didn't wait for leads to come through the computer. She went out and created opportunities through, just human connection.
And these conversations, whether it's in a packed elevator or at some local event or just standing in line for coffee, they are direct lines to opportunity. No filter, no digital noise. It just cuts through. And there's a great anecdote in the sources about this. One seemingly random chat just started outside a local shop. It led directly to her very first multi-million-dollar deal, just because she genuinely engaged with someone. And what's really powerful, I think, is how simple her core philosophy is here. It's basically, if people like you, if they trust you're sincere, they'll want to work with you. I mean, in a time when so many people, professionals included, kind of hide behind screens, right? Relying only on digital leads. Rein is living proof that real face-to-face connection, building actual rapport, it's still the fastest, probably the most effective, and definitely the most cost-effective way to find huge opportunities.
It definitely requires practice, though. For a lot of us, especially if we lean heavily on digital stuff, just starting conversations with strangers can feel, awkward. High pressure, maybe?
Oh, for sure. But the goal isn't necessarily to close a deal in that moment. It's about honing the skill. So the daily challenge you can take from this habit is pretty simple. Just practice the art of connection. Start maybe 3 short conversations a day with people you don't know. Don't even make it about business initially. Ask a genuine question. Offer a compliment. Comment on the terrible weather, whatever. The aim is just to keep that social muscle active, to make authentic connection feel like second nature.
Okay, right. Let's try and pull this all together then. What's the big lesson here, the fundamental takeaway from looking at the discipline of someone operating at this peak level?
I think Rein's success is just such a powerful reminder, really. That long-term mastery, it doesn't come from some secret sauce or just getting lucky. It comes from mastering these daily disciplines, habits that actively build relationships, that foster trust, and that proactively create opportunities down the line. And these habits are timeless because they're all about human connection and creating value. You need that in every market, good or bad. It always applies.
Spot on. So just to quickly recap those 4 core timeless habits that seem to build that foundation for consistent success. First, that deep self-accountable ownership, taking full responsibility. Second, the daily grind of the rule of 5 clutches, that consistent connection. Third, cultivating powerful vendor support through that radical reciprocity, giving first. And finally, talking to people everywhere, maximizing those face-to-face chances.
Yeah. And since the big lesson seems to be that professionals who really focus on people and consistency always come out on top, we want to leave you with maybe one final thought to chew on. Given these really practical, actionable systems we've talked about today, which one? Which of these 4 timeless habits, whether it's the micro-reflection, the connection sprint, the vendor support thing, or that talking to strangers challenge, which one will you commit to starting, like today, to build your own discipline?
Just choose one, start small with it, and just watch how those tiny daily actions start to compound. Pretty soon, it turns into real mastery. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive.